A bit of a drop kind of game in game number 2, and well, now with this draft, like I do kind of agree with you. Like I look at this support duo of Tims and Carlo. Just how much are they going to be able to get done on this Pugna train is the question that's been standing for us, and even Raven again. Like the TA did not do much last game. You know, how much can he get done this game? We shall have to wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah, I think this game again for Talon is dependent a lot on WS and Yoa. Maybe a little bit more so. Like WS can't afford to lose this lane. That's where the Lone Druid starts to really feel awful. In the lane up against TA shouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but you will have to watch maybe some cheeky melt strikes from Raven if he finds the opportunity to do so. It can start to feel a little bit awkward for the Lone Druid.
30 seconds.
Some early posturing over these runes, but doesn't look like anyone's committing too hard just yet.
Just a bit of a fight over the Watcher here in the mid lane. Arbid will be able to take it back for himself. It's like the side of Blacklist. They're going to wait on the high ground here. On the left side of the map, see if they can catch out maybe a Kashi who's walking towards the top lane.
The battle begins.
So Kashi will take the safer route back towards that lane anyway. So nobody going to be a sacrificial lamb here against Blacklist. We do get into it, game number 3. Mid lane, of course, Arbit going to be up against Yoe again. I mean, this time, like the Slaughter versus the Kunkka matchup, I feel like would have been obviously favorable for Yoe as time went on, but against Necrophos, this should be pretty interesting, like to see how Yoe can try to deal with this match.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, the Necrophos will always feel a little bit better in this lane. Yoe, I don't know if you even go for the value point in the Guardian Sprint, maybe just focus in on the Slitherine Crush and the Bash of the Deep and try to focus on the creep wave. Maybe go for a bash every now and again when you get the hit counter up, but this should be in Abid's control very, very smoothly as well. I don't expect too much to come out from Yoe. Maybe if you get some rotations in, could start to shape up. Abid also has to watch his early mana regen. That's one shortcoming for the Necro until Heartstopper is up. If you don't have mana, well, you won't have presence. You're always going to have a little bit more to play. But that's like a level 3 timing when you can really self-sustain. So we shall see. Over down bot, of course, we're taking a look at Carla and Raven up against WS and Jokam on the T-Treant up against the Lone Druid and the Tuscan. Lone Druid Tusk is pretty painful with attacking.
Oh, Raven. That's a lot of damage out on Raven. They do get the bear, but Raven needs to get the hell out of there. Refraction charge is already gone, and well, at least they cannot secure the kill. But yeah, with the tag team up and with the Spirit Bear going, it is a hell of a lot of damage every time Jokam has it available. And he'll have it again in 3 seconds. The Raven does have to play really on edge.
That they do, but they did manage to find a kill in the Spirit Bear, so it's not an insignificant amount of gold to go the way of Raven off the back of that pickup. And it's more than enough to make you happy. We still have some regen to play with at the very least. Let's see it. And Carlos still has a bunch of Tangrus as well to share, so you're not too bad off here down bot. Up top, of course, the last lane that we haven't really looked at, Akashi and Ponyo on the Spectre and Grim, up against Gabby on that Kunkka and Tims on the Pugna. And this lane is honestly probably one of the more static lanes. There's some good play that can come out with Pugna and Kunkka. You can try to look for X marks into the Blast, into Tidebringer. It's still a melee matchup up against a Kunkka here in Kunkka's favor. So you should still be feeling pretty good on Gabby. You can be shoved away. But Akashi shouldn't be too cut off from farm here either.
He's doing fine for now. In the mid lane, things are getting rather tough for Yoe. He's going to back off to the boundary at that 3-minute mark, just try and refill the bottle of his, but looks like Abed's got full control of this mid lane now as the Necrophos. The bottom lane almost looks like Jokam's looking to try and go for a tag team again, and in fact, no. Does bait out Refraction at least from Raven. Gets the leech seed out as well from Carlo. They do hold out. Mind you, they do have the Spirit Bear resummon in about 5 seconds if they want to try and take the risk. And go for the tag team abuse again on Raven, but it seems like for now they're just going to hold.
Just try to build up farm. You are getting some decent build up, and you're controlling the lane really well up against Raven. You have a creep wave advantage coming in for WS, so it does feel pretty good. That doesn't quite fully compensate for how badly you're losing mid and top, with the big margins coming out for Abed and Gabby. So there again is some really good play time in here for Blacklist coming off the back of that Necro and the Kunkka. And the durability that kicks in later on is a major threat. Let's see. Talon still holding their own at the very least, and WS is the shining hope so far in this laning phase, #1 in net worth. It's got to be able to translate that down the line to some ways of finding pickoffs.
Carlo taking a lot of damage. Shards are out now. WS will spirit summon the bear again, and Carlo is just going to melt. Not much you can do about it. They did try to at least burst the spirit bear down, but WS, seeing it get to low HP, just presses the summon button, and no gold goes the way of Raven.
Yeah. Just avoid losing out there. Feeling good about that pickup. WS again, he's had the best time coming out of these lanes. Has the boots up on his bear along with the Orc Corrosion, so the trade backs are, especially with tag teams, they'll try to punish here.
Yeah, Joe Cam, he's going to run. WS trying to block up a little bit. Joe Cam finally going down. WS does at least get a cheeky ensnare onto Raven on the way out, but there's a pretty important kill here for the side of Blacklist Rivalry, able to secure that support task.
Slows down that pacing just a little bit more. Allows a bit of recovery for Raven to that pickup as well. It does go hard as well. And if you're not too bad off there. Some, again, good pressure coming out from Blacklist across every lane. The mid lane, there's still no relief coming out for Abed. Okay, Joe Cam shows up now.
Abed will take the shards. Yoet, Joe Cam getting to work. Abed still no point in the Ghost Shroud. Has to try and rely on just his supports rotating, and it does work out for now. But Yoet moving back in, misses the stun, gets the bash off, but Abed's going to survive. Yoet, he's the one to fall. Very nice rotation from Tibbs to save the day. No, he survives that without Ghost Shroud being available.
Yeah, I mean, this is the general build that you'd want to go on the Necro. It's not getting that value point if you can. Just going all in on your output and your sustain with the Heartstopper as well. And it has paid off. Like, he is out of mana, but should be able to regen just fine. At the very least, Shield Rune is found by Yoa. If he waited for his 6 before making this play, you'd be better off. Like, without Corrosive Haze, you would have had enough damage to probably kill off both of them, but get a little bit hasty with that TPN for Jokan. They are punished. And now you have to deal with a Reaper's Sight just waiting on Abed. Once he has some mana to do so, he's just going to chop down some heroes if he finds that opportunity.
Absolutely. Ponyo being a little bit cheeky top lane, does actually find himself a courier. But Gabby's going to lose his chainmail, the courier. Maybe just trying to get within range for that Wisdom Rune still, but it seems like he's going to get caught by Tims, so Tims will force him away. That should mean a 1-for-1 of the Wisdom Runes anyway.
Not for you.
7 minutes in now, 2-1. Not too much aggression happening across the map here. Both sides, again, just playing a slower laning stage. WS top of the net worth board so far on the Lone Druid. Coming extremely well and has already queued up the Radiance for the bear. So Radiance is going to be the skill build, or rather the item build that WS wants to go for. Rotation in bottom lane from Gabby. They're going to try and move it on Raven, but this is all bait as Raven is waiting for Gabby to move in with the boat out. However, Raven, he's dropping very low. He's down. And now they're fighting underneath the tier 1 tower. Talon, they might need to remove themselves from this situation. It's like Joe Cam will go down. WS going to get the bear out of there, though Gabby unable to stop it. So a 1-for-1, but certainly in the favor of Talon as they do end up taking down the TA.
Yeah, big pickup for Talon to find in exchange for Jokam. Jokam doing a lot of work there, dodging out that boat with a really good snowball. They managed to get some good procs onto that TA as well, and they managed to run down. 3-2, giving some space out to Akashi, and they'll go hunting again.
Akashi's going to try after the tree, and it seems like they'll have the tree. No problems here, just taking down Carlo. WS to secure the kill for himself on the Lone Druid, and I mean, why the hell not? This Lone Druid's going to be a huge issue if this kind of farm keeps up.
Dire's
And
middle
there's
tower
Tim.
is under attack.
Mid lane. Oh, even the shards don't land. Oh well, Tim's will walk his way out. Bit of a unfortunate shards there from Joe Cam. In the meantime, they do still get the bottom tier 1 tower, so I suppose who the hell cares?
Yeah, miss out on an opportunity, but they get an opening to just get some space going for themselves. So WS is going to be able to farm up a storm quite nicely. He has switched out for the defusal here, so the bear is just going to be able to get much more aggressive. I think it would have been nice to have the Radiance rush on the bear. Relieves the pressure for Akashi to find Radiance, allows him to go for a more aggressive build. But I think overall you still probably prefer Radiance on spec for the Shadow Step. So overall it still works out. Still looking to apply pressure down bot. This is the side of Talon. Some good wards to watch though. Inside of Blacklist.
Hey Carlo, he loses half his HP in one bash from Yoe. That's pretty demoralizing to watch. Just a level 2 bash of the deep removes half his HP. With that, Yoe is having a pretty damn good time again. You know, this mid slaughter, it's working out for him.
Yep, he's popping off again. He managed to hold out against that lane, which is really an atrocious lane. He's still behind in that work. But this is what we've seen from Yoe. You know, even if his lane goes bad, he'll look around the map, he'll try to make things happen for his team. And he tries to go for these power runes. And every single time he finds a good one, he'll make quick work of it. Finds the arcane this time, not the best for slaughter, but could still lead to something.
Talon. So they're not going to find anything up at this top lane. They'll leave the area. Blacklist still trying to get their own farm going. Sadly, Raven has found himself again at the bottom of all the calls here in terms of net worth, though. I suppose I could say the same thing about Akashi. But Akashi, it's kind of expected that the Spectre is going to take a bit longer in terms of the farm game, as Talon already moving into the mid-tier 1 tower. They go into Carlo, the Tree Protector unable to survive. Reaper Scythe at least out does find Ponyo. They're 1-for-1 on the supports. And seeing that Talon, they just leave. I mean, they're just taking tier 1s left, right, and center with the Spirit Bear. And they just keep running across the map and finding other tier 1s.
Yeah. Again, I like this. It's just a lot of aggression coming out from Talon. It's preventing the side of Blacklist to feel too comfy farming up. This time, Raven's bottom of net worth in terms of Blacklist's own cores. He's not able to AFK farm comfortably. Whereas, let's say Abed and Gabby keep up pace, not too far off from WS. But that pressure is starting to kick in. You know, this Spectre of Akashi is taking time bomb. Once the blade melts up, he's going to be much comfier in the shadow steps in, especially with that urn up and running. You do see Blacklist trying to go for a smoke play with Tims and Carlo, trying to connect up top, but it's only Jokam up there. He's just playing greedily, soaking up, getting a little bit of farm, trying to work towards that blink. Not going to be the biggest kill with this kind of smoke.
And moved in, Jokam already down. They're still going to try and fight back here with WS moving in. However, Carlo is in position for a great overgrowth of WS. He'll get caught as well as Ponyo. So 3 going down now for Talon, and Blacklist rivalry now, showing up and fighting back, able to get quite a bit of revenge here against the boys from the Dire. That's a big team fight to hand over.
That I don't understand from Talon. Originally it's just Jokam up there, and he could have just had just the Tusk die. There was no play coming out from Jokam, no turnaround potential. They forced that movement with WS with his Barret barely any HP. And they just feed out some kills. Blacklist find a good opening for themselves, take that tier 1 on top, start to buy more space to again build up. They've managed to eclipse WS and farm now with that pickup. I mean, you've already got the travels up in Abed, so you can be all over the map and just participate as frequently as he'd want to. Blade Mail for Akashi is coming out now, at the very least, so that's a little bit more coming for Spectre to play with. Yoe, 2 parts away from the full Ags, and that's when the Slaughter can feel a little bit crazy, on top of something like the Shard as well down the line. But I think it's time for Talon to kind of just lick their wounds and try to farm, which will give Blacklist this recovery space. And 3k is not a small sum to be ahead by. And they have recovered. Like, Raven's above Yoe and Akashi's farm, and WS's lead again has disappeared in the span of 1 fight.
slow down once again. 13.5 minutes now. 4K advantage the way of Blacklist rivalry. Looking at mid lane. Just looking for perhaps that 14-minute power rune. Yoe is going to show up as well here in the mid lane. He's going to be taken by Joe Camp. Joe Camp. Going to go for the snowball out as Yoe. Going to be chased down. Abed does have the Reaper Scythe available, so it should be a rather easy kill once they do have some HP removed, and it seems like they will. 2 more down here for the side of Talon. Yoe going down. He's a pretty big one to lose here for the Dire side, and the Blacklist rivalry really starting to take off now in this game 3.
I like seeing this activity come out now from Raven. Like, this is him without the Deso, showing up to help his team, pump the damage in. And again, this Necrophos is the one big issue right now for the side of Talon. If they can't isolate Abed, I mean, as this guy scales up, it's just going to be harder and harder to deal with. Someone's going to have to build a Nullifier to deal with it. Maybe you can get that in WS down the line with a Bear. He already has the Yules to save at the moment. He's going for the Heart next for Abed. So this Necrophos' presence, it's just a really good timer to play around. You know, every minute and a half, you just kind of show up, get a kill, Reaper Sight, try to see if that's enough for an objective, and just go back to farm. Whereas for Talon, they were trying to play that pace a while ago, bled out a little bit too much gold. Again, they're having to sit back, lick their wounds, try to build up some items here first, which is allowing Blacklist this lead back. 6K up, 9-5 for Blacklist at 15.5 minutes in.
Gabby's gonna man up here as Abed. He's got the shards up so he can move in, break the gap onto Ponyo. Ponyo, it's like he is set to fall quite easily here, as they've even got the Spirit Bearer of WS locked down. X him back, and it seems like they will try and secure the bear. The WS could look to resummon it, and does do so in the end. Lets it die first before he does do so, though. Onto the Roshan pit they go. It seems like Blacklist wasting no time here on all the objectives. Roshan should not be too challenging here with the TA around.
Yeah, they've got the damage. You don't have the contest this time from Talon. So this is the time that we're looking for from Blacklist in game 2 with the Deso up and Raven. Go for a pickoff into Roshan, into more objectives, into a snowball effect. And they have course corrected from that game 1 delay. So they're playing to the strengths of this lineup much better. They're going to be able to just take a freebie and keep that pressure up in Talon. They're just not ready in Talon's end. Even with a Blade Mill for a Koch, you can probably want some Radiance up. Erosin WS also just try to farm up. I'm not sure if they're going to go for... Yeah, he's going for the Nullifier in WS. So you will have some solutions down the line, but you have to weather the storm. This is when Blacklist are fully online and at a very good peak.
See if they can weather that storm. This Talon, they've got quite a bit of time to go here for the Spectre to be a real problem. But WS is the one real saving grace here for his team, and even then, like, he's not really in a position where he can carry the team with this lone druid quite yet. There's Yoe with the Aghanim Scepter now up on the Slardar, so Yoe might be able to offer a bit more for his team, but it seems like Blacklist Rivalry are the ones that want to try and get aggressive, as they do smoke up as 3. Oh, they run right into Talon. Talon having their smoke broken. Jokem and Ponyo. Well, they get X'd up here for Ponyo. Poor old Ponyo just set to fall quite quickly. Well, that'll be 1 down here for Blacklist. Seems like they're going to be able to find too much more, though, sadly. As Talon will be able to successfully retreat. But they do run into the mid lane now, Blacklist. They want to try and see if they can find this lone druid. They are at least going to run right into the Spirit Bear, and Abed, no need to leave this one alone. They'll Yules it up, cancel the TP off, and the WS, he does have a resummon available. He's holding out as long as humanly possible. And it seems like it's going to pay off, because it will get away as Abed. He just TP's out. Carlo just goes down. Meanwhile, Akashi. Oh, Akashi just died bottom lane. Abed just TP's and Reaper Scythed him.
And he's got his target set on that spec. And this is where that Necrophos pick shines, rips apart the hero like the Spectre, which wants to scale high HP later on. Yoa though, looking for a little bit of a cleanup.
Yeah, Yoa. Jump in on the Kunka. Gabby, still a pretty tanky guy. They are going to soulbind Arbit, or rather Arbit and Raven up. Raven, he's taking so much damage here. Trying to go into the Melt Strike, but he is going to go down as now Arbit, a bit of a sitting duck. We'll try to heal him up, but it's not going to be enough quite yet. He is down for the first life. And the second probably won't last too much longer either. He will try to get away, but Arbit is held down, and Talon able to almost just get a full team.
Pretty much. That was quite the turn. A 3k gold swing going the way of Talon, 3.6k going their way. And that's a massive win. Evens out the game. They managed to fight back up against that early time that we saw from Blacklist. And it's all down to the fact they kind of streamed in. You know, they lost Carlo on the mid. It meant that they couldn't find a good overgrowth angle, which is a little bit too far for Jokam. It just falls apart. They will try onto Yoa with the overgrowth though.
The boat flies out. The Slider does get caught. Yoa, he is down. Just by himself, kind of underestimating the potential here of Blacklist. And, oh, even WS and his Spirit Bear, it looks like they're going to fall. But no, the bear will barely survive.
On the edge again. That did force overgrowth, which is a fairly long cooldown at level 1, 2 minutes without that spell. So there's an opening here for Talon. They still have Shadow Step. They don't really have any big cooldowns to wait for. The water park is open for Gabby though. Has the Ags up. With no BKBs in sight. That crowd control from Blacklist is overwhelming. It might not be the best of times of Talon to look to re-engage here.
Gabby, he's found the lone druid. WS not able to get into the true form yet. He's trying to survive with the fear out. Now does get the true form off into the snowball. They're going to move back into Carlo. WS a tanky target now, but a huge tidal wave out from Arbit. Going to drag him right back. In fact, I say Arbit, it was Gabby who performed that, and Arbit, he'll just find a double kill in the middle of all this. Now onto the Grimstroke they go. Ponyo is down. 3 down for Talon.
They recover really well in Blacklist off the back of this Ags timing from Gabby. And Talon, again, just overestimating what they can do, getting punished for it. Yoa trying to solo this Tormentor was scanned out, but doesn't look like he's going to be punished for it just yet. They should be able to find out for his team, maybe hoping for a freebie from this one for himself, as that chart is pretty big for Slaughter. Gonna go Jokam's way though. Talon, you can see them setting up for this late game. Like, Jokam went for the Midas, so he wants his own BKB, wants to scale up. You're still seeing Akashi waiting for that Radiance. The Nullifier is almost done here on WS. So you've got some answers coming in, but it does feel like the BKBs are starting to become a necessity here as well for all of these cores. As again, this crowd control from Blacklist is insanely annoying. So just gonna have to wait for that. Blacklist setting up for a top push with these offensive wards here.
WS could be in a bit of danger right here. True form on cooldown for another 10 seconds. Overgrowth is out. WS immediately bursted down. Now it seems like Blacklist are feeling a lot more confident here in this game 3 as they move through the T2 tower. Not sure if they want to bother trying for a T3 attempt, but I mean, considering how the game's going, they might just give it a crack. Seems like Raven wants to at least force a glyph here.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
There we go. T3 tower now under siege.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Defend this is Talon. They'll wait for WS to come back in. Heart now completed on Arbit, so he's a very, very tanky boy. X is out on Akashi. Akashi probably regretting his decision to come back into this as Akashi was dragged back there for a moment. They'll go for a soulbind out on 2, but they don't really seem to care at all about the soulbind. Blacklist continue to stick around, but Yoa, he's going to make the jump in, trying to secure Gabby, but Gabby gets the life frame from Tips, and now the Reapers. Akashi caught without buyback. Gabby still alive throughout all of this as well. Tim's just continuing to live frame him up. And I suppose now you can go for probably more. Just go for a second Rax while you're at it.
Tier 2 still stands, so they're not able to go for too much more here at the very least for Talon. Their high ground will stay secure. A little bit strange movement from Yo. He goes for the blink in play, and then he instantly runs back, leaving Akashi out to dry. And that does cost them massively. A 9k lead now for Blacklist. And Blacklist, again, they've understood their timings. They're playing to their strengths. They're playing this early push that Talon can't quite overcome. And for Talon, this lineup still needs a lot more stall. You know, this Lone Druid still needs so much more items. The Nullifier is nice. A BKB is necessary. Same thing goes for your Spectre here. And they'll just go into the high ground. At very least, WS is back up with a bear, but you need to find a good angle here with it. With Yoe, you need to get that Slytherin crush off.
Good. There goes the tier 3 mid tower. They'll jump in for a stun. Yeah, we're going to try again as Akashi. He'll jump in as well. They're onto Arbed. Really wanted the Necrophos down, but in comes the water park. Arbed still dropping though. May go down. But no, the heal's coming out. Arbed, he'll survive a little bit longer. And now the turnaround is here. It's looking real bad for Talon. They lose everybody. All 3 cores are down. Raven having a look for a bit more. Unable to keep up with Ponlo. Excuse me, Ponyo. Don't even know where Ponlo is right now.
Who knows? Who knows where he is? But what I do know is Blacklist, again, bouncing back in this game too in pretty dominant fashion. Talon, they found some openings, but they find these moments where they just misjudge what they can do. And the punishment is just extremely severe. They lose their tempo. They are not able to hit the item timings they want to play this game. They're 2 racks behind. Tier 1 defends bot at the very least, so it's going to take some time to get megas here. But it doesn't feel like it's enough time for you to get fully online on the Spectre and on this Lone Druid. Like, you saw them fully commit chasing down Abed. He just heals up. He has the heart. He has the Ghost Shroud. He has this Death Pulse spam. He's not going to die. You know, you need to focus on other targets first. You need to maybe take out Gabby, maybe these supports, right? Like, Tim's is doing a lot of work in backline. No one is reaching out onto that Pugna. So it's just getting a free ride with a life drain coming out with the decrep saves. Roshan still a minute away. Blacklist already setting up for that one as well. And Talon, not many answers presenting themselves here. Akashi trying to go for the Manta into the Ag, so wanting that old haunt back. You have the Nullifier on WS on the Bear. He is going for the Shard into a bunch of Wraith Bands now for the main hero. But yeah, we need to see some BKBs coming onto these heroes. Without that, the water park control is just, it's way too much. I mean, you really can't do anything about that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, here we go again. Looking for another fight here. Blacklist rivalry.
Radiant are scanning.
Carlo, overgrowth out. He's caught at least one of the Brimstroke, and he got the Spirit Prayer as well. Ponyo, he is just deleted. Gabby rushing forward, gets a tidal wave back onto WS, the Spirit Bear. And the Bear dropping relatively quickly as Ahmed continuing to just death pulse forward. However, WS now getting caught out in the Reaper's sight just to ensure they secure the kill. Jokam unable to save him in time with a snowball, and now poor old Yoe. Oh, Yoe, he's going to try to run, but the chase is on. So he's going to be okay. Meanwhile, Carlo. Akashi. Oh, Akashi just trying to kill Carlo, but he's going to pay for it.
And that was maybe a little bit unnecessary. Maybe he felt like he was going to die, but additional kills coming out for Blacklist. Talon falling apart now. Blacklist just need to take care of these outer towers, go for the Mega Send. Well, they basically have this game under bag, canceling off the TP that we're seeing coming out there. This Gap is just standing right under, waiting for that TP to fully finish in, so Yo is going to have to walk his way back. At least finds a regen rune for his trouble, but there's no play. Until BKBs come in, there's no play, and no one is queuing it up. No one has the goal to even consider it. And Blacklist have complete control. Like, you've got this unkillable Necrophos up front. You've got this Pugna in the back line. You've got this TA dealing a ton of damage with a full Silver Edge up now for Raven as well. I don't see answers for Talon unless Blacklist somehow screw up I just don't see a natural opening for Talon in terms of timing with this deficit.
Oh, Roshan gonna be the target now for Blacklist Rivalry. They'll start to move in. So Roshan not gonna take very long. A little minus armor they can provide here from Raven. Talon, they are holding on for sure, but very, very rough there for them now with an 18k deficit and an ages the way of Blacklist Rivalry.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
When they see Yoe too, Yoe under the vision, they'll rush towards the Slaughter. They're gonna get the X off, and well, Yoe, he is just as good as dead. At least he has buyback. That's the positive.
Yeah, can show back in. These outer towers are just set to fall. Talon's gonna have to make their last stand on that bot Rax. There hasn't been any progress. You know, there's no new items to speak of in big level spikes.
Raven, it's the leading Ponyo here as they do at least get the shards off here on Raven, so Raven kind of stuck here, maybe forced to feed away the Aegis to the Spirit Bear, and it's, oh, never mind. Never mind. He barely survives. They will lose WS, and they will lose Showcam. That's tough. That is a very tough way to drop 3 more heroes.
That is, and that honestly spells the end of the game here for Talon. No buybacks on those heroes. A rather unfortunate timing on the second nullifier used. There's a load absorb up on Raven, so the bear couldn't chase down to even find the Aegis. Even if he found the Aegis, I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about that secondary life? It didn't feel like you could do anything at all. Last set of racks to fall. Blacklist. Wait, Talon not calling it yet. They're trying to find an opening, but again, like that. Yeah, I don't know what opening you can hope to find. Blacklist are 25k ahead. You don't have the items necessary to fight back. You've got the Ags up on Abed, and this is done. Ags on Necroforce, you can't deal with this.
Cannot. Kick back onto Gabby. They've got the Kunkka lockdown in the tier 4 towers, so Gabby is going to go. Abed in the middle of all this, but look at the amount of damage he's dealing to everyone. They're just way too high at the moment. Yoe and WS are gone. So is Akashi. They just get deleted. Kick back again onto Abed. Abed still okay through this. Can just continue to go by the looks of it. Oh my goodness. It's just too much.
He has 7 Reaper Sight kills. You have that bonus Restore Amplify on Ghost Ride, so Axe burn out. What is Akashi?
Yeah, Akashi's doing something, John. He's dead, and GG has been called. They've seen enough. That'll be Blacklist Rivalry taking this series 2-1 against Talon Esports, and well, that does mean they do make it to the upper bracket final of the close qualifiers here for Blacklist.